G'day. Today's video isn't really going to be a tutorial, it's just going to be a quick demonstration on how I might go about editing my recording of a ASMR video. So we're going to start this just by looking at the audio file. And so this video is going to be called Binaural Brushing Beats 2. I recorded one video, it seemed to be quite popular, so I thought I'd continue the series of the type of sound where you brush the microphone with different objects. So generally, I'll always try and begin the recording with a couple of claps, and then what I'll do is I'll try and put a little period in here just to see how much noise is in the recording. So I'll try and keep it as quiet as possible. And something I might do is just do like a little noise reduction on it. So you got to capture the noise prints and do the noise reduction. So what I'm looking for is trying to make sure that there's nothing coming up here. These are recorded on some of my new microphones, so I'm still adjusting to how they work. So I'm doing like a very slight noise reduction here just at the beginning, and then what I'll do is I'll EQ the audio a little bit, and I'll try and bring the levels up, which is very difficult with an ASMR video because it's sort of like anti-levels. Yeah, it's really trying to record stuff so quietly. So with these microphones, I'm not really sure on the EQ process because my old microphones or my other microphones, it's very easy. You just bring up some of the high frequencies a little bit and that's about it. With these ones here, they're much more even, and I'm not really sure what I really need to do. So the first thing I'll notice is that there's two peaks in here, and I'm just wondering what they are. Also, I do have to review the whole audio file, which I won't bore you with. Here we go. So here I must have got a little bit too close to the microphone. And so I'm just going to bring these levels down a little bit. Just select the one side. And just bring it down a bit more. And then I'll go over here. I'll do the same again. Oh, that doesn't sound nice. Okay. And so what I'll do is I'll mark my recordings with a little tap because there's a sound here I need to remove. There it is. So Audition has this little, like an eraser. And what it does is you can see sounds in the frequency range. So you've got like from 0, 1000, 2000, all the way up to 30,000 frequency. And so the sounds will always fall in certain frequencies. So my voice falls in quite a low frequency. And there you go, that sound's gone. I need to turn my volume up. No, it's still there. So what I'll do is I'll just bring the volume down a little bit. And then I will bring this all the way down. And then I'll try and feather it in a little bit. So this is generally the process I'll go through. So I'll have to go through and remove any sound. So the main sounds I have to remove is me swallowing. It's very difficult to not swallow if you're talking or doing something. After I think about 10 or 15 minutes is about as far as you can go. And then saliva starts to build up in your mouth. And so it's not a very nice sound. So I have to consciously do it and then mark the recordings so that I can go back and remove it later. And just go through and just remove all of the sounds. Because people have some of these levels up quite loud and they can hear a lot of these sounds. Alright. So we're just going to review some of the audio. So that's a process of me removing sounds. So I have to remove the swallow sounds, and sometimes my stomach will make sounds. So I'm much more conscious now to make sure I remove all of those type of sounds out of the recordings, not to have those sounds distract or take people out of the experience. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to work on EQ. So I will generally use these two plugins. So we're going to crank the recording levels up a little bit. You may hear a little bit of the sound from the headphones coming through the microphone, so it might sound a little strange. So I'm just watching these low end sounds here. So these are all the different frequencies that go across the range. So my voice will sit around here, and in my old microphones I'd just do that. It's done. That's how I'd EQ my old microphones. But these microphones, I don't really know trying to find some voice. Wow, these sounds are hard to EQ. Alright, so I just got a little bit of my voice in here. I'm just trying to see where it sits. Man, these recordings are so hard, the levels are so low. So it looks like my whispering voice is sitting about here. So I'm going to try and bring this up a little bit. Bring this down, bring this up, try and bring this down. And then I'm going to try and bring this down just a fraction. A bit more. So I'm just trying to bring and what we've got down here is we can change the sounds. In my old microphones, I used to like UK Vintage 2. Very, very slight sounds. It's very hard to tell the difference. Bring that down. And so what these are doing, these are just cutting off some of these top frequencies. So this is called a high cut pass. That's a low cut pass. The low cut pass cuts high frequencies and the high cut pass cuts low frequencies. Go figure. Just washing over you. Okay, so that there will probably do for the EQ. Remember, you don't want to go crazy on this stuff. And so we brought the 1K up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come over to here and just bring this up as well. Just a fraction. And we're going to bring these down a little bit. Bring them up a little bit. So this here is something that what's referred to as mastering. We try and get the levels up. So I'm going to crank them quite a lot. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to here. Starting sounds. What's that? So these are your levels. So basically here's your point of distortion. So the way I kind of work on it, like a movie has like a dynamic range, whereas your voice will sit around here and like loud stuff will sit around here and like a whisper will sit around here. So you got to try and get your levels up as high as possible. Advertisements will be hitting here all throughout the advertisement. Music will be hitting all around here as well. They call it the loudness wars, where everything has to be so loud, and it's really causing problems for people. That there's just no dynamic range of sound where, you know, you could have like an acoustic guitar, like say Queen, where they start off with something quiet and it's like boom, 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 and then something quiet, you know. Whereas a movie can happily have this range of sound. Music just cranks up here the whole way through the song. And they're trying to reduce, they're actually trying to bring a standard in to try and reduce people cranking the audio right up. what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to apply these effects, and just while these effects are applying, so two things. One, I just want to EQ the sound just a little bit, just to try and bring out my voice a little bit, and just to touch up the sounds, and try and bring the levels up a little bit, because ASMR videos are just so quiet to record, and it's just really difficult. So I believe in an audio recording environment, ASMR videos are one of the hardest things to record because the sounds are so quiet. So I'm just trying to get the levels up a little bit, but still trying to keep no noise in the background. So this recording was recorded on my new microphones. So my old Rode NT5 mics, and they've had new capsules installed in them, and that should give them a more open and detailed sound. So I'm still getting used to the microphones, and I'm hoping that they will capture a more detailed sound coming from objects like crinkles and tapping. The microphones are best used on like acoustic guitars. They're used for drum overheads to capture the whole drums, pianos, acoustic instruments. So their main use is recording acoustic instruments. So I'm just hoping that the microphone's purpose of recording a detailed sound will work for ASMR videos. What I have noticed with the microphones is they have a very short distance of pickup. Once you move away about 1 foot away from the microphones, the recording levels reduce significantly, so you have to be very close to the microphones. Okay, so that is those effects applied. My computer is not the fastest computer, but it's a pretty quick computer. It's pretty old too, it's like 3 years old now. Okay, so you can see we've got a little bit of levels now. So they're just hitting the bottom of where I'd really like them to be. But if we have a look how big they are here, we'll go, how's it, Control Z. So they're much smaller. And now they're bigger. So I brought the levels up as much as I can, what I believe is safely. So now what we're going to do is see how much noise is in this spot here. Okay, so it's still very, very quiet. There's like no noise at all. That's impressive. So to be honest, I can bring these levels up more. What I want to do is save this rack. Save as preset. We're going to call this NT5, because I have a second recording which I'll have to apply these same effects to. So I want to save that because I got another audio file I'll have to work on. Okay, so this here is the same plugin. Okay, so now we've got some levels coming up. So I've cranked this. I'm bringing the threshold of the volume up. And as you can see here, there's a little bit of noise coming into the recording. So I just want to see how far I can bring those levels up. fast. Small little movements. Alright, that's it. The reason why this is going to take so long, that's a long time, is because this was recorded at 24-bit 96 hertz. The file itself is 1.3 gigs, and it's I think it's like a 30-minute recording. I think we're going to cancel that. We'll come back and we'll do all that stuff later. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to save this file, and we'll bring it into the video editing software, and we'll start lining it up. So this isn't going to be a complete process. I still have to review this audio file. There's still some stuff I need to pull out of it. Okay, close that down. I'm sure I just saved that. And we'll save it again. Does it crash? Yep. The wonderful world of Adobe. Fully updated version of software. Crashes on exit. So I'll fire up Premiere. Create a new project. And we'll go select folder. I'm going to call this binaural brushing. And so I want to import our footage. And now what Premiere is going to do, it's going to start conforming the audio in the video, which is normal. So I'm going to create a sequence, which will be AVCHD, 25 frames per second, because we're in the land of PAL, which is not 30 frames per second. So this is the first video. This video was actually quite a few attempts to get it to be recorded. So these are my video tracks and these are my audio tracks. And then what we'll do is, while we wait for the audio to conform, what we're going to do is going to line it up. So generally I'll use a clap to create like a signal in the audio so that we can line it up. So you see clap, clap. You'll see me go clap, clap. That's me looking down at the audio recording to make sure it's recording. And then what we'll do is we're going to line it up. Now with Premiere, you can only line up by frames. And you can see there's about like a half frame out. So we click here, show audio time units, and we can zoom in on a much more detailed level. And you move the audio file, can't move the video. We'll zoom in a bit more. And we're going to just move it to where we think is pretty close. And then we want to check the end of the recording. This here is my camera. It cuts the files up into 4 gig files for the FAT32 limit. We want to check that the claps at the end sync. So as you can see here, there's been a slight drift of about half a frame, which is actually really good. So because we're going to mute this audio track, you won't notice anything at all. But if that audio track was live with that one, you get like a out of phase issue and it sounds really strange. Professional audio video, they have a thing called time code, which locks everything to the same time code, so that little drift of that and that shouldn't happen. And over here is the start of it, so we should have some sync points here. So we're going to line this up as well. Go back to the audio time units and just bring it up. So now we can sort of sync it in a much more detailed way. So that looks okay. And then we'll see if there's any sync marks at the end. Over here maybe. No. I can't remember what happened, but it's close enough. So this was the start of the video. Wow, look at the light difference. So it's much darker here. It's much brighter here. That's the problem of recording something and then the next day come in and try and finish it off. So what we're going to have to do is work on the brightness and try and match the bits of video. So that there's going to be quite boring for you. But this is a piece of the audio that we need to apply that same effect to try and keep it the same. Well, that's really nice, just sitting there doing nothing. Alright, so what we're going to do is go to presets, NT5. We're just going to apply that to the whole file. So I'm still going to have to review all of this, but generally the process is chuck it in the timeline, line everything up, sync it up, and then I will apply a couple of effects. I'll have to match up the color a little bit, and I'll probably chuck like a little blackness, like a circle around it. Just try and keep the background a bit darker. Okay, so that there will be some of the effects. My camera records things quite noisy, so you can see lots of noise in the background. So I have a plugin to remove noise. And you don't click on stuff. Color correction. And as you can see, it's so dark, that's just, these levels should really be up here. I'm not real good at color correction. So I'm just gonna bring up the red a little bit. Try this. It's going to be hard to match. Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible. Color correction in itself is an art, and I'm not that good at it. Let's go off here. I seriously wonder if this is the correct bit of video. And that's just gone green. No, it looks like it. Yeah, that's it. It looks like it. This is a difficult part. Trying to match that with that. Oh, I think I'm going to give up on this because I know that I have speed grade installed and there's a function in that to be able to match video, but I can't remember exactly how to do it because I've never done it before. So I'm going to leave you here, but there's basically the basic building of a video. So I'm going to have a look. Hang on. I went to record and I was like, oh crap, that's not the right picture in the background. And you watch this. I've got a level here to make sure it's level. I have that handy to make sure everything's level, camera's level, paintings are level. It's quite embarrassing once when I had a photo in the background. I've done it a few times where they're out of balance. Alright, I'm going to leave you to it. This video is probably long enough as it is. So there's just a bit of a guide on what I do to edit the video. So this one here is a little bit more complex because A, I've got to match the videos, and B, I still have to review all the audio. So, oh crap, it's like 45 minutes long. It means it's going to take me an hour or two to go through the audio. Alright, stay tuned. I'll do some tutorials and stuff on these programs as well. Thanks a lot.